Hello, I'm Francois, and welcome to The Ginger Chef. Hey guys, this episode is called The Early Bird. It's really early. It's like 10:40 or something. So yeah, there's a microwave on the stove. So at this point, I need to say that the following people in this video, no, the people in this following video are qualified experts. Do not try this at Village. Tuks Village, the RMC, the HOR, and the University of Pretoria do not accept responsibility if you try this and blow up the microwave and die. So don't do this. So this morning we're going to do breakfast, an omelette or something. So I would like you to help welcome my guest, Brad Mustard.
Thank you, Francois. I think that's the first time I've been referred to as an expert with regards to using microwave. So, as you said, we're going to be doing breakfast, we're going to be doing an omelette, and in particular, a microwave omelette. This is one of my favorite recipes because number one, it's quick, which is really important when you're a student trying to get to class, and it uses as few dishes as possible. As a student, I really don't like cleaning up. So, let's go through some of our ingredients. Here we have all our ingredients laid out. The two most important ingredients, things you cannot do without, obviously eggs and milk. We're going to be serving our omelette on a piece of toast, and in order to make it the most ultimate of hangover food, we're going to serve it with cheese and cold meat. Today we're going to be serving it with a peppered salami, but other cold meats such as a smoked chicken or maybe a ham would work quite well. The salami, do you think that'll be the right thing for our omelette today? Tastes quite nice.
Yeah,
particularly so early in the morning to have that nice sort of peppery flavour is really, really great. Other stuff I've got here, some spray and cook. This is optional, but it'll save you some time. As I said, this is a lazy recipe. Got salt, pepper, and then you might want to choose some other seasoning. What I'm using today is a collection of Italian herb spices. Again, this is optional, and as you slowly start to cook, you'll build up a collection of spices, sort of find things that you like in different recipes. As I say, this is what I like in mine.
Okay, and this we don't put in the microwave, right? Because it says flat.
No, not unless the microwave is at a bomb range. Here we have all our ingredients presented for television, but really all you need to make this meal is a bowl and a fork. So let's get started. If you chose to get your spray and cook, the first thing you should do is put a generous spray over your bowl. The reason for this is once you cook the omelette in this bowl, some of it may start to stick to the side and it makes it slightly more difficult to clean. If you put spray and cook on it, it's a single wipe and you can put it on your drying rack and head off to varsity. So now we start with our main ingredient, eggs. Crack your eggs into the bowl. Depending on what size omelette you want, you can have either 1, 2, or maybe even three eggs. Also, depending on the size of the bowl that you have. If you're new to cooking, I'd really recommend for a recipe like this where you don't need the yolk to be whole, to practice cracking eggs with one hand. One of those things that's quite nice to show off. Our next ingredient is milk. Now again, as a lazy recipe, I'm not very big on measuring, so I would say it's roughly about a splash. Show it to you closer in the camera, about that much milk. Lastly, we're going to put in our seasoning. This is to taste. Again, if you're new to cooking, our recommendation is that when you start off, put less seasoning. You can always season more, but putting too much seasoning can ruin a meal. As you make this recipe a couple of times, which I'm pretty sure you will, you'll slowly get an idea for the level of seasoning that you like. On normal grinder, I do anywhere between about 5 and 10 grinds if you want sort of a ballpark figure. So I put put all my seasoning in, and you can see it's already starting to look nice. And as a hangover food to prepare, it doesn't smell like anything. So we take a fork and we slowly start whisking up the mixture. You could actually use a proper whisk, but I intend to prepare and eat my meal with this fork. As I said, achieving my other goal of dirtying as few dishes as possible. You'll see the beating action that I'm doing is quite circular. I sort of raise the yolk, trying to beat in some air to the mixture. So continue to beat it till you can see it's all nicely well mixed, and you can't discern the yolk from the egg white. That's really all the steps there are to preparing the main part of the omelette. So we now take this over to our microwave. So we're going to take our mixture in the same bowl that we whisk it. We're going to put it straight into the microwave. Now, microwave ovens vary greatly, so rather than giving you a time that it needs to be in the microwave, I'm going to show you how to see that it's ready. But generally, on most microwaves between sort of 600 and 1000 watts, you can start with about 2 minutes on the high setting of the microwave. So while we're standing here waiting for it to go, this would be a good time to start preparing the rest of your meal. Don't be sort of held to a strict formula when you're cooking. Feel free to experiment, particularly if you have the opportunity to cook for yourself. If you experiment with something and it's bad, then you're the only person who has to deal with it. If you experiment with something and it's brilliant, well, then you've now got an awesome recipe like this to show other people. So it's gone for about 2 minutes, and if I open it up, the bowl will be really warm, so make sure you take a cloth, and you'll see it started to form together into a basic omelette shape. You'll notice now in the center it's still a little bit runny, so it needs to go for a little bit longer. Also, sometimes, particularly if you don't take use the spray and cook, it'll stick to the sides of the dish, so you might want to just loosen it up to allow the liquids in the middle to finish cooking. So we're going to put this in for, I think, another minute or so. While that's going, let's talk about the rest of the preparation. Okay, so we've put it in for another minute, and I think it's about done. Let's open up and have a look. And yes, you see, it's now all solid, there's no liquid in here. And here is sort of the reason why I like the Italian spices so much. You notice the spices rise to the top. The Italian spices give me like a nice range of colour. As you sort of slowly start to get into cooking, you'll find that food is as much about the smell and the aesthetic appearance of what you're eating as it is the taste. So it smells pretty good? Smells like an omelette? Okay, well that's good. Okay, so the first thing I want to prepare is my cheese. Here I'm using a Gouda. Another good cheese to use with this would be a cheddar. By all means, you can start to use something a bit fancier, like a feta or a blue cheese. All depends on what you have at hand. But this is sort of the classic thing that you put in your grilled cheese. You may want to grate it, but for this recipe, I find sort of slicing the cheese holds the entire meal together. Take one slice and 2 slices. Cutting cheese like this, you'll do with a sharp, flat-edged knife, and it's worthwhile getting a knife that's larger than your block of cheese. Next thing we're going to want is our bread. If you're doing this as a breakfast recipe, a piece of toast works quite well. If you reach for my cheese again, I chop your fingers off. This is my prepared cheese. Go grate your own cheese. Anyway, where was I? Bread. So I'm using a nice whole wheat low GI bread. This is very nice because it's a very filling sort of bread. Again, it's quite acidic. Though if you're a white bread eater, then this is probably a bit heavy. So choose the bread that you like to eat. Once again, you don't need to stick it directly to my recipe. You need to make it your own. So take our first slice of bread, and if we take our microwaved omelette, slides nicely out onto your bread. The only thing I would put directly on top, I'd recommend you put the cheese first, because the warmth of the omelette will cause the cheese to melt slightly. And lastly, you can put your salami on top. So we've got this nice sort of stack. But to eat it, I'd really recommend you turn it into a sandwich. Any good sandwich should be sliced. And here we have, in less than 5 minutes, breakfast of a cheese and salami omelette. Excellent. Some other things that you might want to add, again, if you're making for other people that don't quite have your taste, maybe you might have under-seasoned it. As you're assembling it, when you're at this stage, you might want to put some more salt and pepper on top. What I really like is a bit of Tabasco. This is a spicy pepper sauce. Really goes with any sort of eggs. If you happen to be making scrambled eggs in the microwave, then this goes quite well. Your fried eggs. Coincidentally, you can follow the same process to make scrambled eggs, except when we took it out in the middle, you take your fork and you just break up the eggs and put it back in the microwave. And using the same ingredients, the same process, you can end up with scrambled eggs instead of an omelette. So what do you think of that, Francois?
I think it looks really, really good.
Great. Do you think this is the appropriate early bird meal?
I think so, yes.
Great.
So I'll see you guys next time on The Ginger Chef. Remember, I'm not the only hot thing in the kitchen.